So it looks like our mayor is starting a war with his own city. He's not using tanks or soldiers. He's using this, a massive new oil and plastic supply chain that Mayor Watanabe is ramming through our city council. He calls it an industrial project that will bring jobs. He calls it progress. But when you look at the mechanics, what it really is a war of attrition against our public transit system. It's a strategy designed to make driving so affordable and convenient that choosing the bus or train simply stops making sense. This project isn't just some benign economic development. It's a weapon aimed right at the heart of our city's future. It means the commute citizens take every day is about to get worse. The air they breathe is about to get dirtier. And the transit system that thousands of people in this city rely on could be starved into failure. And the most cynical part, he's doing it all just months before he's up for re-election, packaging this destructive vision as a gift to the very people it will harm the most. To understand why this is such a profound challenge to our city, you first need to understand what exactly he's attacking. You need to understand what we, the citizens of Eneida Bay, stand to lose. Before this conflict, Eneida Bay was a city defined by its vision for the future. It wasn't perfect, honestly, far from it. Like many cities, they were grappling with the legacy of early planning mistakes, wrestling with traffic, and trying to heal the scars left by highways that carved up the neighborhoods. But they had something special. They had hope, and that hope had a name, the Eneida Bay Transit Authority, or EBTA. For years, the EBTA was more than just a collection of buses and trains. It was the physical manifestation of a promise of a different kind of city. It was a lifeline. For students at the university, it was the only way to get to class without a car they couldn't afford. For seniors in the older neighborhoods, it was their connection to clinics and shops. For thousands of service workers who keep our downtown core functioning, the EBTA was the only financially viable way to get to work. The EBTA wasn't just for people who had no other choice. It was increasingly for people who were making a choice for a life not dictated by a car payment or the soul-crushing search for parking. And the EBTA was getting better. It was fighting for that future, project by project. Just last year, they broke ground on a new suburban development line. This wasn't just a few more miles of track, it was a promise to the long-neglected eastern districts that their access to opportunity mattered. The project was planned to connect thousands of residents to the central job hubs, a vision of efficient, equitable mobility. These weren't just infrastructure projects, they were statements of intent. They were the building blocks of a 21st century city, a city that valued its people's time, their health, and their environment. The EBTA was slowly weaving the fabric of a more walkable, more livable Eneida Bay. It was a future you could almost touch, a future where you could live a full life without ever needing to own a car. A vision of a city designed for people, not just for vehicles. This is the system Mayor Watanabe is targeting. He's not just attacking a budget line item, he's attacking this vision. He is attacking the students, the seniors, the workers, and the families who depend on it. He is starting a war with our future, and he has a very, very big gun. All right, enough theory. Let's get our hands dirty and break down the sheer audacity of this plan. On the surface, Watanabe projects an image of no-nonsense pragmatists. He's the jobs mayor. But beneath that veneer lies a deeply cynical political strategy that sees public transit not as a public good, but as a political enemy. His weapon of choice is the Old Harbor industrial expansion, a project so vast it fundamentally reshapes the city's economy. The mayor's office presents it as a brilliant four-stage revitalization plan with glossy brochures and slick videos. It looks like the kind of large-scale economic project that leaders dream of. But when you look at the mechanics of this plan, using the logic of the game's own supply chains, the true purpose comes into focus. It's a perfectly engineered system designed for one primary goal: to make the private automobile the undisputed king of Eneida Bay. Stage 1 of this plan is deceptively simple: extraction. The mayor's office is fast-tracking zoning for 2 to 4 new oil drilling rigs. They're sold as a way to create immediate jobs. On paper, it looks good. Jobs are created, a resource is extracted, and money starts flowing. But this is just the primer. The raw oil itself isn't the end game. Stage 2 is where the strategy becomes clearer: processing. The raw oil is fed directly into 2 or 3 newly constructed oil processing plants. And here lies the first prong of the attack. A primary output of this processing stage is cheap fuel. The mayor's plan will flood the city's market, driving down prices at the pump. It's a populist masterstroke. Who doesn't want cheaper gas? And it's also a direct subsidy of car drivers, paid for by the environmental degradation of our own backyard. Stage 3 is the centerpiece, the crown jewel of Watanabe's war, the Blackpool Corporation refinery. The mayor has brokered a deal to sell a massive tract of public land to Blackpool Corporation for a gargantuan oil refinery. This isn't just another processor, it's a unique factory. In the language of the game, an asset that will dominate the landscape and the regional economy. This is one of the heavy hitters. The Blackpool Refinery is a weapon of mass destruction. Its primary outputs are twofold. First, an immense volume of cheap fuel, a direct sustained attack on the EBTA's financial model. Second, it will churn out a torrent of petrochemicals and plastics, the raw materials for our final stage. Stage 4 completes the cycle: detailing and manufacturing. The endless stream of plastics from the Blackpool Refinery will be channeled to a new generation of unique factories. That the mayor is attempting to lure into Old Harbor with some tax breaks. Clothing factories, vehicle manufacturers, you name it. These factories create more jobs, sure, but they also lock our city into a supply chain wholly dependent on oil. When Mayor Watanabe announces the grand opening of the Old Harbor industrial expansion, he doesn't talk about the dependency on a non-renewable resource. He talks about hundreds of high-paying jobs and energy independence. He frames the cheap gas as relief for hard-working families. He's not just building an industrial park, he's building a political narrative. A narrative that says progress comes from smokestacks, jobs come from oil, and freedom comes from a full tank of gas. It's a 20th century story, but he's betting it's still powerful enough to win a 21st century election. The mayor's vision for Eneida Bay is a masterclass in political marketing. It's simple, appealing, and built on the promise of jobs and cheap gas. But when you scratch beneath the surface of this optimistic press conference, you find a reality that is far more costly. This isn't a plan for prosperity, it's a trap laid with the game's own mechanics. And to understand the true cost, we need to deconstruct the propaganda, piece by cynical piece. Let's start with the most seductive promise, cheaper fuel. In urban planning, there is a concept so well documented it's practically a law of physics, induced demand. The game simulates this perfectly. Making a road wider or making driving cheaper doesn't solve congestion. It just encourages more people to drive, quickly filling up the new capacity and leading to the same, if not worse, traffic. We are solving the problems caused by cars with more cars. Mayor Watanabe's plan is induced demand on a citywide scale. By artificially lowering the cost of driving, he is actively incentivizing people to abandon public transit and get behind the wheel. The immediate effect will be a surge in traffic, choking our already congested highways. The commuter won't get to work better or faster, it will get longer and even more stressful. But the most insidious part of this strategy is the deliberate, targeted attack on our public transit system. This triggers the transit death spiral. As artificially cheap fuels lures more citizens into their cars, the EBTA ridership will inevitably decline. Fewer riders mean less revenue from fares. It's a quiet way to destroy a public service, allowing the mayor to later claim, look, nobody's using the EBTA, it's a failure, hiding the fact that he sabotaged it from the start. Then there is the environmental catastrophe. An oil refinery is not a clean neighbor. It's a major source of ground and noise pollution. The decision to place this sprawling industrial zone in Old Harbor is no accident. It ensures the worst of the pollution will drift over neighborhoods such as Syracuse and Cyclops Head. It's a textbook case of environmental injustice, simulated right here in the city. Finally, let's talk about the financial mirage. The mayor touts the jobs, but these are low-skill industrial jobs, vulnerable to the boom and bust cycles of the global oil market. Moreover, the sticker price of this project ignores the mountain of hidden costs that our city's budget will bear. Car dependency is incredibly expensive. Every new car adds wear and tear to the roads, requiring billions in maintenance. In contrast, cities that invest in public transit see a massive return on investment. By choosing to subsidize Blackpool Corporation, Mayor Watanabe is diverting public resources to a private enterprise that will externalize its costs, pollution, traffic, and public health crises onto the very citizens it claims to serve. It's a short-term electoral strategy that sacrifices the city's long-term health for a few percentage points at the ballot box. So this is where we stand. The battle lines have been drawn, not with soldiers, but with zoning permits and industrial policy. This upcoming election is no longer just a choice between candidates. It's a referendum on the very definition of our city. It is a choice between two profoundly different futures for Eneida Bay. On one side stands Mayor Watanabe's vision. It is a future pulled from the past, a 20th century dream of progress measured in barrels of oil and tons of plastic. A city of sprawling suburbs connected by ever-widening highways where the private car has been made the only practical choice for getting around. In this future, our economy is chained to a polluting industry. Our air is thick with smog, and our public spaces are sacrificed for parking lots. It is a city built for industry, not for its people. On the other side of this future, the EBTA, for all its imperfections, was trying to build a vision of a city with connected, walkable neighborhoods where citizens have the freedom to choose how they move. A city where our investments go toward clean, efficient public transit and safe streets. It is a future where our economy is built on innovation and sustainability, not extraction and pollution. It is a city designed for people, a place measured not by its GDP, but by its quality of life. And that is the battleground. Mayor Watanabe has fired the first shot, betting that jobs and cheap gas will secure his victory in the next mayoral race. But his attack on the EBTA has awakened a powerful opposition. This isn't just an industrial project anymore, it's the defining issue of the upcoming 8th mayoral election. The campaign is about to begin, and in our next episode, we'll be on the front lines as the fight for Eneida Bay's future goes to the voters. So, until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.